people say like George Bush did 9/11 and stuff like
George
that.
Bush did do 9/11.
Yeah, he had all these conspiracy theories and stuff like
There's
that.
a couple good ones, yo. There's a couple. What do you think about it? Have you done your own like little research about it or nah?
I didn't get too deep about it, but like I was kind of weirded on like how when there was videos, there's like the videos directly on the Trade Center, just waiting for it to happen. Kind of, I'm just like, why are you recording the Trade Center?
Yeah,
right when the plane hit.
There's a lot of weird ones.
I'm just like,
Did he talk about Donald Rumsfeld? So Donald Rumsfeld was, oh my God, I don't know his exact position, but he was like the Secretary of Treasury or Secretary of the Pentagon, Treasury of the Pentagon, something like that. I believe he was like a Treasury something during the George Bush and the whole thing. The day before 9/11, you can look this up right on YouTube. Day before 9/11, he came out at the Pentagon and said they were missing like $2.3 trillion.
Damn.
Next day, that side of the Pentagon got blown up. So it's like there are some like anomalies that are insane. Like the BBC had a program that was like, so do you ever hear of Tower 7? Did the guy go into Tower 7? So there's 3 buildings that fell. So you got the World Trade Center, you got the north and the whatever. You got both towers. You got the North and the South Tower. So then you have Tower 7, which was like a few blocks away. Not too far away, but a few blocks away. That fell the same. You know how they fell basically like a demolition, perfectly down? It fell the same. It wasn't a full skyscraper, but it was a pretty tall, I believe like 10, 20-story building. And it fell the same exact way, like a pure demolition in the middle of Manhattan. Like not next to the World Trade Center, but somewhat close. And first off, the BBC was recording. They're like, oh, we just got in. Tower 7 has fallen. The Solomon Brothers building has fallen as well due to like heat or some shit. Like they said the heat came through and melted the rods and then dropped the building. So the lady that's like saying this, that, and the third on the BBC, the building is standing over her shoulder. It's still up.
Dang.
She's saying the building has fallen. The building has fallen. The building's over her shoulder. It's still up. So, and that building, the Solomon Brothers building, that did fall perfectly like a project demolition. It was a government Solomon Brothers building. So the NSA was there, National Security Association. The CIA was in there. The FBI. They all had their own buildings, and they had their own. It was all owned by like I guess by our national government, and it had a lot of creepy stuff in there. So the fact that building fell was very interesting. And then apparently the only plane that took off that day, so like every plane was grounded, everything comes out of the sky that day, because it happened like early 9 a.m. The only plane that took off that morning was a plane to Saudi Arabia with apparently Osama bin Laden's brother, because the bin Ladens worked for the CIA. This is not a like crazy unknown fact. What he basically was like. I'm going to throw some crazy stuff out here. So you know how Epstein was kind of like in and out of different countries, doing different shit with different people? That's kind of what Osama bin Laden did, but he wasn't running a full sex trafficking ring. But he was in contact with different countries, pulling strings with different people. I believe his father was an interpreter, a language interpreter for the CIA. So his family he has like 10, 15 brothers and sisters. I think mostly brothers. But their family was part of the CIA. And like that's not an unknown fact, but it was very interesting that apparently the only plane that took off was the plane that went to Saudi Arabia. And it's interesting because if the people that blew up the World Trade Center were Saudi Arabian, like they told us they were Saudi. We never once went to war with Saudi Arabia. We went into Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, and then Syria. We've never been in Saudi Arabia. If the people that blew up our buildings were Saudi Arabian, why did we not go to war with Saudi Arabia? And then it goes into the petrodollar. So like Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard and put us on a petrodollar. So our dollar is now owned by the petroleum oil in the Middle East. So what are you going to do? You're going to go over to the Middle East. We have our guys right on. Oh, these are the guys that blew up our things. And then they look like the Islamic look. They got the exact guys. It's like, oh, these are our guys. We have them right. They found them right away. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting how that happened. And then the scariest part is there was no real investigation. It was such a mass traumatic, like my dad was in New York, like he would be, but like my dad's like a little bit of a conspiracy guy, but like to really full on believe that the government blew up those buildings and those people jumped out of them and it was fucking George Bush's fault, like he'd be beside himself if that really happened. And that's the average American. The average American's like, would our government really blow up these buildings and cause this mass hysteria? And the answer is they're definitely capable of this. And this is something that I definitely wanted to bring up because I think it was interesting. I believe, I don't want to get it wrong. I actually have it right on my phone. Talk about it. I have it right on my phone. There's an operation that happened. Operation Northwoods, okay? So when JFK was this is declassified. So when JFK was president, the government came to him and was like, yo, let's blow up an airplane. Blame it on Cuba. I don't know if they were going to blow up with people or it was going to be like a drone, like airplane. They were going to blow up an airplane, blame it on Cuba, and then go to war with Cuba. JFK was like, I'm not doing that. That's fucked up. JFK's brother was like, yo, I'll do that. But so they killed JFK, and his brother was like, you just killed my brother. Like, I'm not going to do that. So that was all declassified. But if our government's willing, and then our government, we went to an African country. I don't know the name. We went to an African country or a South American country, and we gave the whole country syphilis to test out our penicillin. And this is all declassified. So like we wanted to see if our big pharmaceutical medication was going to be able to fight some of these diseases. So we load up this country with an STD. Millions of people die, and we try our penicillin, and maybe this form didn't work. Then we add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And that's all declassified. So if our government's willing to do that for their own power and their own greed and their own name, I mean, like they're willing to do anything. They're willing to blow up a plane and blame it on Cuba to go to war with Cuba and then the military-industrial complex is mad complicated, and that's why Trump got a lot of like followers because he called out some of this hypocrisy. So like these people, we've been in, like I said, if Saudi Arabia really blew us up, why are we fighting for 20 years with countries that had nothing to do with blowing us up?
That is a good point.
Yeah, it's like it's a 20-hour plane ride to get to these motherfuckers. Like